Hi, Plant Girl here. Today I'm out in my garden and I'm going to be planting my peppers. I have 8 varieties of peppers to grow and I'm going to be putting them all in this bed here. So I'm going to bring in and give you a quick look at this bed because I have a lot going on in here, and then we'll get down to planting the peppers. This bed is supposed to be my garlic bed. It's where I planted my garlic, and I don't know how well you can see, it's a bit shadowy, but I didn't get very many plants coming up this year, so I think I planted around 25 plants, something like that, and I have like 8 that came up, I think, and I've kind of dug around and it seems like they rotted off. I'm not sure what happened with them, so I have lots of room now with the garlic. I also have carrots in this bed, so there's a small row of carrots down along the edges on the south side of the bed on either outside edge, so one down here and one back there, and then I have 4 rows of carrots kind of in the center with some onions around those as well, and a row of onions down the middle. So I have a lot going on in this bed, but it should all work well together. I'm going to plant, because of the way the carrots are planted, which is because of how the garlic was supposed to come up, I'm going to be putting the peppers on this south end of the bed in just slightly because of the rows of carrots right here, and then at the north end of the bed over here I'll be putting them more towards the outside of the bed. It doesn't really matter, it's just where they're going to wind up so they fit in. If you can see how they're laid out, they're not exactly the way they'll be planted in, but I do plant them fairly close, about a foot apart, and I've laid them out and I should have a pretty good amount of room there. And then I'll grab a plant and I'll just show you what I'm going to do with them here. So I'm growing the peppers in these woven bags this year just to try them out. It's the first time, and so you can see the roots have come through the bags quite nicely on all of them. They dry out quite quickly, so they've been hard to keep watered, but I also have 2 plants in each bag, so that's not a lot of soil for 2 plants, so they should be drying out quickly at this point. But these bags are supposed to break down and not be a problem for the roots. The roots grow through them and the bags break down, but just to be on the safe side, I've decided I'm going to take a utility knife on 1 bag of each type of pepper and just cut it down one side and down the other side, just to make sure that the roots have room to get out, and just to experiment. And then I'll mark which one I did that with, just a stake, just so I know which one I did that with, and then I'll know for subsequent years if that made a difference or not. Now you'll notice that, like I said, I have 2 peppers in each bag, and I grow my peppers in pairs. I find they do well together like that. I think they actually offer support and shading for the fruit, and it's a cluster of flowers which maybe brings the pollinators in better to get them pollinated. I don't know, but since I've started growing them like this, they do well. And you can see, since if you've seen my video where I pinch them or top them, they've really started to branch out. Most of them have started to grow 2 liters. This one here has a weak 2nd liter, but it is growing 2 there. I don't know how well you can see them. And they start to put on more growth usually down the branches as well. So that's why I do that, in case you've been wondering how that worked out from the last video. So when I put these in their planting hole, I'm also just going to be using some basically all-purpose fertilizer. It's just a 448. Peppers I find are a heavier feeder, so I will be coming back with fertilizer throughout the season and adding compost to them as well. That hopefully doesn't affect the carrots that I have growing near them. That's my only concern with growing the carrots and peppers close together, is overly fertile soil with carrots can sometimes cause some extra root growth with the fine roots. But I think as long as I'm using more of a low dose of fertilizer and not a lot of nitrogen, I think I should be okay with that. So I'm going to get these in the ground. It's supposed to get down to 5 degrees Celsius tonight. By the time it actually reaches that temperature, according to our forecast, it'll actually be, the sun will be coming up already. So I'm just going to put a plastic hoop covering over top of this bed for today and tonight, and that'll trap some warm air in there, and they should stay warm enough for those conditions. So that's my plan with these, and I'm going to get started. The soil I'm planting in here is pretty soft, and I'm going to try and get near the drip line as much as possible with all of these, but I can dig it easily with my hand. If you have a harder soil, you might want to dig a larger hole just to give them room for the roots to spread out a little bit. So I'm just going to pull a little bit of soil out. I'm going to add some fertilizer into that soil that I pulled out. And like I said, I'm just going to slice a couple of these bags just to make sure the roots have somewhere to escape. Now with these bags, I want to make sure that this gets down below the soil line so that it's not wicking moisture out of the soil. And if you see on the peppers there, you can see how they're forming roots down at the base of the stem, and they're looking for more soil and more nutrients there. So I can put them down just a little bit deeper, and that'll get the bag covered up and give them somewhere to let those roots grow. And I'm going to put a stake here, just indicating that this is one of the ones that I cut. So then I'll know that's one that I cut the bag on. So then I'm going to go about a foot and dig my next hole. These peppers I'm planting right now are King of the North. This is a new pepper for me this year, and I'm excited to try it. Supposed to be a nice big bell pepper that grows well in the cool. Maybe a bit too deep. So it's just that simple to planting a pepper in the ground. So I'm not going to bore you with me walking you through every single one, but I'm going to continue to get these in the ground, and I'll let you have a look when I get it done. So that gets the pepper bed all planted up now. I have planted 18 holes, which is 36 plants of peppers in this bed, just down the two sides. These are 8-foot long beds. And I also popped 3 eggplant in the front there as well. So I have a Violetta, a Patio Baby, and a Black Beauty down the front for eggplants. They're planted the exact same way as the peppers. This bed's a little bit exposed, so if I need to, I might come in and put some tomato cages or other supports around these plants if they're getting windblown. Otherwise, for peppers, it's just keeping an eye on the watering. They have the drip line along here, and for the next week or so I'll just be checking to make sure that that's enough water that they're getting, and maybe supplementing the water until they get really established. And I'll be coming in every 2 weeks to 1 month, just depending on how they're looking, and top dressing with some of that same organic fertilizer, or giving them a liquid feed with some like fish fertilizer. And I'll be top dressing this bed with compost as it becomes available, and that'll just give them nutrients and hold in moisture. And so that's all there is to peppers. They're not too tricky. So the peppers are done, and they'll be much happier with their roots in this bed than they were sitting in the greenhouse waiting to be planted out. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.